Hey guys, and welcome back to part 2 of the Design Your App from the Ground Up series. So we're going to get started now. We're going to make this a design on an iPhone 8 today. I'm going to bring in a few colors and add them as document colors very quickly, just so we can quickly refer to them later. We're going to go going for a very dark blue and a cyan sort of type color scheme. So the first set of screens we're going to start with now are the onboarding screens. So I'm just going to bring in a few photos that I had prepared earlier, courtesy of Pexels, I believe. So all these onboarding screens are going to be, there's going to be 3 of them, and each of them is going to be a photo with a 90% overlay of our primary dark blue color. After I've done that, all I'm going to be doing is adding in the standard sort of status bar iOS interface elements. I'm going to add a text layer in the middle, some pagination so that it's clear to the user that they can swipe left and right, and a little bit of text like so in the middle. So I will fast forward through the text because I'm sure you guys have better things to do than watch me type. The text can be whatever you like it to be, that's not the important part. So I'm just going to make some stuff up in here now. So I'm going to group that text and just center align it with the page. Now, this will be the template that we'll use for the other 2 pages. So it's important that we get it right the first time, because it will simply, onboarding 2 and onboarding 3 would be a copy of the first one. So I'm going to add 2 buttons down the bottom, one being login and one being sign up. And I'm going to put them 20 pixels out from the bottom and 20 pixels out from the left hand side. And there's that nice blue cyan, as you can see, really standing out from the background. And as for the color of the text, we're just going to use that same background color there, just because I kind of want to keep it minimal. I don't want to have too many clashing sort of elements. And I think that looks not too bad. So I'm just going to align that in the button properly and copy and paste it out. And then give it 10 pixels of space and put it in a group, and we'll end up with a width of 360 pixels, which we will be using for the majority of the time. Now I'm going to add in the pagination dots, which you can access through the Apple iOS UI kit when you're in Sketch. And I'm just going to put that 20 pixels up from the buttons. So there's our template page done. I'm just going to change the name of it to onboarding 1, copy and paste that artboard, change the name of that artboard to onboarding 2, and now it will be as easy as adding another photo in and deleting the previous one, and again applying a fill with 90% opacity over the top, and then just changing the text as you see fit. So now that we've got that template down pat, it's really as quick as a 20-second job creating the next screen. The only thing we will have to make sure we don't forget is to change the opacity of the pagination dots. You can do that by unlinking the symbol from the library and then detaching the symbol, and you can play around with the opacity of each individual dot. I find is easiest and quickest for me. So we're going to go ahead and make an onboarding screen 3 again. I'm going to bring in another photo and just pop that opacity color layer on top, change that text again. And that's looking fairly nice. Now, all I've done here is I've made a copy of that onboarding 3 screen. We're going to be moving on to the login and the sign up screens. So I'm going to create just the 2 screens. I'm not going to do anything to them yet. The reason being, I'm going to turn these buttons into a symbol, and then I'm going to link each button to that login and sign up screen. So then I can just copy and paste that symbol back over the onboarding screen artboards, and we won't have to worry about linking them more later. If you wanted to save the prototyping until the end, you can, and for most of it I will. But I do like to throw in some of these quick and easy wins where possible along the way. So now that I've got that, I'm just going to copy and paste that symbol and delete the other buttons on the other artboards, and you'll see those yellow arrows popping up earlier there. Now that we've done that, onto the sign up or login screen. All I'm going to do is create a rectangle that's along the bottom of the screen. It's going to be 434 pixels tall with that primary dark blue overlay. I'm going to give it a fairly high radius because it's quite hard to see. And now I'm going to start adding in the fields. So I'm just going to start off by giving it a header. It's going to be login page. I'm going to put it in 22 size font in medium. Again, using Montserrat everywhere as usual. It's the font of the week at the moment. I'm going to copy and paste that out. I'm going to align this second piece to the right, and I'm going to duck the size down to 16. And this is going to be the link to the create an account page. So all I'll say is something along the lines of don't have an account, maybe even a bit smaller, and the opacity of 50, and that will do. Put them in a group like so. Now I'm going to make the fields. The first field is going to be the login with Facebook button, which is one that we identified earlier when we were doing the wireframes. So I'm just going to take a hue not far away from our background color, and I'm going to make it 360 pixels wide here. 350, my apologies. And then pop that down like so. Now I'm going to bring in an icon for the Facebook icon from the Font Awesome kit, like so, and we're just going to align that to the left side of that box in the middle and give it a white fill so that it stands out a bit better. Can't see that black at all, like so on that background. And then I'm just going to add in a little label as well, so pretty common to see sign up with Facebook, so we'll just use that. The only thing is I'm actually going to delete this and copy and paste it, the login text that we have here. The only reason being, if I make a new text layer, it's not going to bring over those spacing properties that I had set earlier. So the easiest way to get it to scale between various font sizes without having to figure it out yourself is to copy and paste the existing layer that you have used with the spacing properties, and then change the font and it will automatically do it for you. So there's our login with Facebook button done. All I'm going to do now is just make a little or button, and this is where the email fields are going to go. I'm going to do something a little different with the email fields. I'm not going to actually put a space between email and password. I'm going to make it 1. So it means we're going to have curvature at the top of the boxes, but not the middle, but then on the bottom of the second box and not in the middle. So I might just make the login with Facebook button a little bit lighter so it looks more like a button as opposed to a field. I'm not going to use that cyan color here because I want to save it for the login button down below. I'm just going to bring in some icons quickly. That's where you saw that, that cross blur there for us to use. I'm using a nice kit from a guy named Alexander Stoica. If you'd like to check him out, I'll put the link below. I've donated to him. They're a great set of icons. So there's our email field done. I'm going to put a line between the two forms so that you can differentiate between email and password because they're so close together. The way I'm going to do this is with an inner shadow. So I'm going to set the inner shadow to 0 on the X value, -1 on the Y value, and 0 on the blur value. And then I'm going to select a much lighter blue than's being used in the box already. And you see I still haven't got it light enough now. And I'm going to change the curvature of the bottom of that top box so that when it meets the bottom box it looks seamless. So now that I've made that a bit lighter, that looks like a distinctive line, which is good. As for the second one, I'm just going to select the top 2 corners, change their value to 0, and that will look fairly clean. Now I'm just going to change the icon and the label listed in the box here. So just make sure it's aligned properly with the existing one, and then change the label to password. And all I'm going to do very quickly is add in a little forgot piece of text so that user can press on password if they've forgot password. And now, not to forget, the bottom is curved as well, so even though we can't see it, I still like to uncurve that bottom so it meets square with the bottom of the screen. Now I'm going to bring in the buttons and I'm going to make it 1 button. So I'm just going to times the length by 2 and put it 20 pixels from the bottom of the screen, like so. and I need to change the curvature down to 4 because that's what we have on the rest of our boxes here. When it's on the onboarding screen, that's fine because they're by themselves, but I'd like it to match otherwise. So now all I'm going to do is copy and paste all of these layers that I've got here and take them onto the sign up screen side of things. The reason I need to do this is, as I told you earlier, when I was using those simple prototyping to link to the screens to save us some time, I had to create these screens earlier, but the beauty is these are essentially exactly the same screen, just with different text, so it's no problem for us. Just going to change that sign up with Facebook, forget the forgot password, change the button text, and that's it, done.